Okay, I'm going to go over test 2, chapter 8. So when you're ready, you're going to click on test 2. You've got 3 hours in which to take it. So when you're ready, hit attempt quiz now. Hit start attempt. It says, Los veranos con mis abuelos. Juan has great memories of the times he used to spend with his grandparents when he was younger. Complete the following paragraph with the correct imperfect form of the most appropriate verb. So you're given 2 verbs. Choose the one that would best fit the sentence and then conjugate it into the imperfect tense. Tiendas y artículos de uso personal. Complete the following sentences with a logical word or phrase from the word bank. I think I'm going to go back in and put an A, B, C, D in front of these words so that we can minimize spelling errors. So if almacén makes the most sense for this blank, then you would write an A. If desodorante made the most sense here, you would write a B. And so I'm going to go and put A, B, C in front of them, and that's what you will put in the blanks provided. ¿Qué es esto? Identify each of the items pictured and be sure to include the appropriate definite article with each word. So you can't just say ties, but the ties. You can't just say sandals, but the sandals. You can't just say coat, but the coat, etc. Then here it tells you it says en la taquilla del cine Cervantes. Read each of the following statements, then based on the picture, decide if they are cierto A, falso B, or if the information is not given C. So you'll look at this picture and then read each of these sentences. If it says la tercera persona en la cola es rubia, if that is true, then you would write an A. If it's false, you'd write a B. And if it's not something you can figure out from the picture, you would write a C. So you'll go on and do that for all of those. ¿Qué son estas cosas? Your roommate is learning some new vocabulary. Help by labeling each of the items pictured. Be sure to include the appropriate definite article. So you can't just say ring, but the ring. You can't just say earrings, but the earrings. You can't just say deodorant, but the deodorant, etc. And that is a necklace. Here it says, íbamos de compras. Listen to Anna describe her seasonal shopping trips with her mother, then respond to the following statements and decide whether if each statement is cierto, falso, or not mentioned. And again, so you'll play this dialogue. If this statement is true based upon what you hear, you would write an A. If it's false, write a B. If it's not mentioned, write a C. And that's how you'll do this activity here. Here it says, mis vacaciones de verano. Read the following paragraph about how Catalina, a student at your university, used to spend her summers as a child. Then decide whether each statement is cierto, falso, or no se menciona. Again, you read this passage, and then it says, la familia se iba de vacaciones todos los inviernos. If that's true, you'll write an A. If it's not true, you'll write a B. And if we don't know, or it wasn't mentioned, you'll write a C. And here it says, los números ordinales. Complete the sentences by writing the word for the correct ordinal number. So the number of the ordinal number is in parentheses, but you need to write it out. So 8, you're going to write 8th. And first, you're going to, 1, you're going to write first. Remember that there are some rules with dropping, for some of the ordinal numbers, you drop an O when it comes before another noun, and some of them you change to their feminine form. So just make sure that you follow those rules that were taught to you for ordinal numbers. Here it says, complete the following sentences by choosing the appropriate verb. So the verbs are given to you, sometimes more, let's see. No, looks like it's always the same verb, just some are in the preterite, some are the imperfect. So you'll read the sentence, decide whether it needs the preterite or the imperfect, and then you need to pick the conjugation that matches the subject as well, the person who it is that's doing the buying. So if you think it should be compré, you would write an A. If you think it should be compró, you'd write a B, and so on and so forth. Here you're choosing again between the preterite and the imperfect. It says, do you know when to use the preterite and when to use the imperfect? Complete the sentences with the correct form of the verb in parentheses. So you will take the verb that's in parentheses, write it in the blank, and change it either into the preterite or the imperfect tenses. ¿Qué piensas tú? Read each of the following statements carefully, then indicate whether they are lógico or ilógico. So if this sentence is lógico, you would write an A. If it's ilógico, you'd write a B. Here, Complete the following sentences with the correct form of the verb in parentheses using an impersonal construction with say. So you use the verb in parentheses accompanied with say to make a complete sentence. So this is kind of saying like books are sold here. In this store, one can buy cheap clothes, and that requires, when we don't have a specific subject, the impersonal say. And so remember how you change the verbs in that scenario, and then don't forget to add the say. Definiciones. Sorry, I don't know. I'm having a little brain fart tonight. Match each article of clothing with the correct description next to each article of clothing. So the descriptions are up here, like los llevamos para correr, lo lleva una mujer a un baile formal, lo llevamos cuando hace frío. So you'll read these different articles of clothing and decide if abrigo lo llevamos para correr, you would write an A here. But if you thought it was una mujer pone su billetera dentro de esto, then you would write an E there. So match the item, the clothing item, with its description. ¿Qué hacían? Match the first half of each sentence to its logical conclusion. So these are the logical conclusions. Here's the first half of the sentence. So just if cuando trabajaba en un almacén recibía, miraba la televisión. If you think that's right, then you would write an A, and so on and so forth. And then hit finished attempt when you were done, and it will come to me. And that's how you complete